successful person by the name of Babe Ruth. Any of you familiar with Babe Ruth?
Yeah.
He is, okay. Said it's hard to beat a person who never gives up. But if you've ever been on the receiving end of bullying, and we're going to talk about something you've heard a fair amount about before, but hopefully I'm going to share some truths that are new revelations to you. And I hope some of this really soaks in and that you can carry this throughout your life so that you become a person who doesn't give up and who cannot be beaten. So the first thing I thought we would do is discuss the definition of a bully. A bully, according to the dictionary, is someone who blusters, is quarrelsome, overbearing, and habitually intimidates other people. They're typically loud, arrogant, and domineering. But what the dictionary does not tell us about bullies, and something I want to share with you, is the fact that most bullies are angry. Seen an angry look on a bully's face when they're attacking somebody before? But I want to talk about why they're angry. Because one of the things that many people don't realize is if you peel away enough layers of anger, you will find fear hidden in the core of that. Now, if there was a bully that I was talking to, I'm sure that they would argue and debate that with me very heatedly. But if I ask enough questions and we peel enough layers away together, we will find fear. I can also tell you this, one of the best revenges, if you have been bullied, is to do great things with your life. Do not allow them to hold you back. Become one of those people that does not give up. And I know this from my own experience. Because see, the first time I was bullied, I was on a school bus. A lot of people who know me today and see me don't know this. I was 5 years old the first time. Little bitty kid, scared, looking out the window. Any of you remember what it was like to start school? That first day on the big bus? It's a little scary, isn't it? That's who I was. And for whatever reason, a group of big kids, older kids, decided that I'd make a great target. And so they surrounded me. And you know, when you're little anyway, and you're huddled against that window, and a lot of bigger people come, and they get all around you, which is what they did, it's very scary feeling. And they started calling me names. Started telling me that I was ugly. Told me that I was stupid. And you know, at 5 years old, I wasn't smart enough to know. They didn't have a clue. They didn't know me. How did they have the right to say those things about me? So I just soaked it all in. And it's hard to imagine now because, you know, here I stand, this heavy, middle-aged lady in front of you, but back then I was really skinny. And so they told me I was a beanpole. And I went through my entire school years being embarrassed because I was so thin. Now I know that may seem silly, because we seem to celebrate thinness in our society, but I'm telling you, that was tough on me, really tough. The point is, it didn't matter what they called me. They could have called me fat. They could have called me dumb. They could have made fun of a big nose. Didn't matter. The fact is, when that happens, those things really seep into your soul. And if you're not careful, guys, you can carry those lies, which is what they are, with you for the rest of your life. And you can allow those lies to keep you from doing what you're meant to do and being who you're meant to be. So remember that I told you that bullies are angry and bullies are scared. I didn't know that back at that time. If I had a time machine today, I would go back and I would talk to my younger self and I would tell her all kinds of things. Unfortunately, I can't do that for me, but hopefully I can share some of that with you. And maybe you won't lose some of the years that I lost in my life. Because see, while I was focused on all of those ugly things that people were calling me, I was not investing myself into figuring out what my special talents were, what my gifts were, and I wasn't using those. I wasn't finding out just how much I was capable of, because all I could hear were those bullies' names to me. But I have found out since, and this is one of those things that I would share with my younger self, that a lot of the fears that bullies are hiding are very common. Most often, it's because there's some area of their own lives where they feel out of control. They feel helpless. Oftentimes, they're bullied themselves. And they're in a situation that they can't do anything to prevent it, and they can't do anything to protect themselves from it. So what they do when they get out of that environment and they escape for brief periods, they try to hide it. And how they try to hide it is to make themselves look tough. But unfortunately, while they're doing that, they're focused on reacting out of their own fear and helplessness. They're not investing in themselves either. They're not finding out what they're capable of. They're not making a positive difference in the world. So let's talk just a little bit about some of those common fears that people have. The fear of being taken advantage of or getting hurt. Any of us like getting hurt? I know I don't. The fear of losing something. You know, it can be a reputation. It can be a job or a position or money. It can be as simple as appreciation. Just being made to feel that you matter in life, to be acknowledged. We fear that someone else is going to get something that we want. That's a very common thing that many of us struggle with. We fear unfairness. You know, I worked really, really hard and they didn't do anything. I have to study every day. They never studied. And yet they could get good grades. That's not fair. We fear being overlooked. And we really fear looking bad. But here's the thing, guys. If we allow those fears to control us, and we lash out, and we match negativity for negativity, not only do other people lose, but we lose ourselves. And right now, at this stage in your life, it's hard for you to imagine that you can lose a lot of time. And unfortunately, there are some people who lose their whole lives. And as you are listening to me today, I really want you to think about that. You guys right now have the opportunity to start fresh in life. You get to say yes or no as to whether you let other people steal your talents, your gifts, and your abilities from you. The choice is yours. Because that's one thing a bully cannot take from you. They can't take your money. You know, I met a Holocaust survivor. You guys know what the Holocaust is? Yeah. I actually sat down and spent a day with a woman who was in prison in a Nazi war camp. Amazing lady. She went through things that are so atrocious that some of it I couldn't even tell you. And yet, this woman smiled and laughed and she was full of joy. You know why that was? Because she told me, when I was in that camp, and when they beat us, and when they starved us, I made a decision and I said, they're not going to steal my mind. I am not going to let them have that. See, she was bullied in that camp. And how many of us know that when you are bullied, sometimes you catch yourself becoming a bully? You too lash out at somebody else. You too see someone that may be a little bit weaker, or maybe you can catch them off guard. And for just a moment, you feel like you've got that power. But here's the truth. Angry people give their power away. Angry people don't have power. They're just reacting out of pure emotion. It's not very smart. They don't make good choices when they're doing that. And this is the deep, dark secret that every bully carries like a heavy stone inside of their soul. They hope that they can get the chance to hurt somebody else before somebody else gets a chance to hurt them. And in the process of that, what happens is they give away their power and they lose the very thing that they want the most. They end up becoming people that others avoid instead of being accepted. Because that's what it is. A bully really just wants to be accepted. They want somebody to care about them. They want someone to treat them with respect. But that's not what they get. So how do we protect ourselves from bullying? Whether we are the one who's initiating it or whether we're on the receiving end of it. The first thing, guys, I'm going to tell you as an adult is bullies don't only exist in school. Bullies exist in the workplace. Bullies exist in restaurants. They exist in grocery stores. Let any kind of crowd gather and you'll see a bully rise up. But bullies do not have to determine your success or failure. Only you can do that by how you react to them. Your attitude will determine your altitude, how high you fly, or how low you go. So I want to tell you just a few things that you can do to protect yourself from bullying. And I will tell you that many of these are going to be a little bit different from other things that you've probably heard. But one of the most powerful